This is our week 3 DFS breakdown. We're going to go through, give you guys our favorite plays at every position, kind of the high range, mid range, and low end play at every position, and then build a Millie Maker lineup at the end. We were on some good plays last week in that lineup. Looking back, we didn't have the stack. The stack just
Burrow Chase killed us. If we
We
had
had
T Higgins, I think we would have.
Saquon, Nico, Brian Robin. We had some plays in there.
We did.
Uh, we will go ahead and start out as always at the quarterback position. So who are you guys liking at the high end?
Patrick Mahomes.
Really?
Oh, do you like him? Because he's 0 for 2 paying for himself this year. He has no receivers.
He's going up.
I don't like any of the top tier guys. Go mid tier. I like myself some Justin Herbert, little.
All right. Well, I'm with you on that, Nick. So,
but
my favorite.
all these top tier QBs have been busts, and I'm angry about it because I lost money on it last week. But
the FBI is literally the Bears don't have a defensive coordinator.
That was fake news.
It wasn't fake news.
The FBI was now involved.
His house got raided. Hallis Hall did not get raided.
Right. I thought it was all fake news.
No, he's Dunzo. They don't have a defensive coordinator.
Are they hiring? Because I know some great blitz packages.
They might be. You show them your Madden career record
before we go off the rails. So Corey, sounds like Nick and I were on the same page with Herbert, but you started off since you said Mahomes, and he's the most expensive.
He is very expensive, but I think this is actually be a high scoring game. Honestly, I think Justin Fields actually kind of reverts back to, like you said, not being a robot. I think they kind of open up the playbook for him and just kind of be like, all right, we try to make you like a pocket passer. That's not who you are. Let you be an athlete, like the type of athlete you are, run around, make plays. So I like Mahomes. I mean, I think the Chiefs absolutely blow the doors off to the Bears, but I think it's going to be entertaining, and I think there's enough points for Mahomes to keep passing the ball. And Nick, I understand they don't have anyone to throw the ball to, but I mean, you still got Travis Kelce there. He's gonna be widely popular. And it's the hard part is figuring out a receiver, but I still think he's a good
problem with that.
I still think if you can figure it out, if you have the
but you're making multiple bets here on just one guy, like we talked about. There's other quarterbacks you just like. Nick and I will talk about Herbert next. Like you're stacking him with Allen, with Mike Williams, or with both. It's a very clear cut thing. Like Mahomes, you're like, okay, you have to be right that he's the highest scoring quarterback on the slate.
No.
You have to guess. I mean, if you go with the single stack with Kelce, I get it. But then if you are trying to add a receiver, you're playing, it's like roulette. And then if you guess wrong, it's like that brings the rest of the
lineup. Don't have to. Just play Kelce. And that's it.
I'm with you, Corey.
That stack, I literally just did the math on it. It's 31% of your budget.
Okay.
Are they going to get 31% of your points?
This is going to be a week. If it's any week that they're going to do it, it's going to be
Nick, by math, they would get 31% of your. Hang on.
You would hope. I mean, you would hope if you're stacking them, they're getting 50 points.
Yeah, you would have to have them go off.
Right.
Okay. I also like Herbert too. I'm not just saying.
Okay, so let's get on to Herbert because Nick and I were on Herbert.
And if you were to score 200 points, you'd need 62 points for them to pay that price off.
Which they can definitely do. I mean, 30 from Mahomes, 30 from Kelce. We've seen that many times.
That was the fastest math I've ever done in my life. Taking the SAT mid podcast here.
All right. So, if you think that stat goes off, you probably need a Chicago run back if they're really putting up that score. So, all right. So Herbert, I love this week. He's my favorite expensive quarterback.
That's such a great game to target. Yeah. I think like two weaker defenses with some of the most high-powered offenses. It's I think by far the highest over/under on the week. So
that's my only problem with it. Him and Kirk are going to be the most chalky quarterbacks in big tournaments for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree.
That's my only issue with it. I mean, like I expect a high-scoring game. I expect both quarterbacks to be playable. in DFS this week, but
I think if you play it, you kind of have to get creative with how you play it. Like, obviously, it's going to be like people like Herbert, Keenan Allen, Justin Jefferson. Like, that is going to be pretty popular. But I'm curious. Mike
You
Williams.
just have to get more creative elsewhere. Then that's my thing. It's
yeah,
like you
okay,
gotta be
you're
unique,
right.
but it doesn't have to be the. I mean, I would try and go find the best stack each week. You know, that's what I do, and then try and get different on some off the wall plays.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's how you play it. If you really like that Herbert, if you like that stack, you just gotta get off the wall a little in some other places. But
I don't hate it at all.
And Kirk again, like him too. Like I still like Kirk, but all right, getting off the most popular game.
One more guy I want to touch on the high end.
Okay.
Lamar. I think with Indy's banged up defense and their corners, I think that Lamar is set up in a good spot here DFS wise. I think that game could put up some points as well. I think it's a sneaky over. I like obviously his combined rushing ability with going up against the Colts corners. So I think Lamar is playable this week for sure too. He hasn't gotten it done the first 2 weeks for his price, but I think this is a fairly decent spot for him.
Okay. Don't hate it. What? All right. So it's getting kind of below in that 7K below. Like we mentioned Kirk. Like, I mean,
Tua.
That you like, yeah, Tua.
Dude,
kind of like
my problem with like the 2 games being played in Florida is there's a big tropical storm supposed to hit on Sunday, so I don't know how much the pass game is going to be in play.
Good intel. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. Yep. What tropical storm?
I think it's called. I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist. I'm not even. I was going to try and think of it.
I was waiting for that one.
I decided to backtrack out of that one.
Another guy that I love in this mid tier is Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Derek Stingley goes down for Houston. Don't love that defense to begin with, and their top corner gets a hammy. I think they put him on IR, but he's for sure not playing this game. And obviously, the Jaguars can put up points in bunches with their receiving team. So you got a lot of options there. The run back is a little more difficult. I mean, you could go kind of a Nico or a Tank Dell route if you're feeling the rookie, but I think Trevor Lawrence here as a mid-tier guy is a good play.
There is no hurricane or tropical storm hitting Florida this week, Nick.
Yeah, good job. Are you just trying to get everyone off?
Completely made it up.
I saw it on Twitter like a half hour ago.
I mean, there is one out in the Atlantic Ocean, but it's going towards like North Carolina.
Yeah, I think it's going to impact the games like a little bit more north.
Yeah, now
I got the next gen stats on hurricanes. It's hitting Florida.
No, well, it's not. So
you got your own models. Nick's got
I got my own predictive models over
I
here.
like Tua. Obviously you saw what Sam Howell did last week against that supposedly good, Denver defense.
I mean, he threw some dimes.
I mean, Sam Howell was throwing the ball deep. I mean, Scary Terry. I mean, now you add Waddle and Hill to that mix. I think this could be I remember last year, Tua was like the winning quarterback. I think like 2 out of the first 4 weeks or something like that.
Early.
He had insane numbers.
Yeah.
And he's already been the winning quarterback once already this season. So I might dip my toes into that Tua well.
Yeah. The Tua double stack with Waddle and Hill definitely won a couple millies. It's expensive, but it won a couple millies last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you do the Tua double, I mean, you have like for them all to go off, that has to be a complete shootout. You're running it back with either like Judy Sutton or like Javonte Williams. You have to I don't see any way.
Yeah,
you definitely have.
I think Jalen Waddle's not going to play. He sat out of practice.
Well, Tyreek's
protocol
is going to be absurd then.
Yeah. Tyreek's ownership.
I actually kind of liked Sam Howell last week. I thought he did pretty good. He was like 27 for 39, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was chucking some deep balls.
Well, do you like him this week?
I don't know. I mean, I think
playing the Bills.
I think the Bills are probably not a team I target for DFS, but I think, maybe some.
What are we talking about, Nick?
Sam Howell.
Show.
I know, but is he
talking about Sam Howell?
I know.
Yeah, but
it's-
you said he's not a target in DFS. Then why are we talking about him?
Well, I'm just saying I like him like I think he played a good game. I was just giving him
But
some
that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about
I'm not
DFS.
playing him against the Bills because I'm mainly playing Dak Prescott this week, but I don't really want to talk about that. So
Yeah, I wouldn't want to talk about that either.
I mean, it's the Arizona defense, so
No, I'm gonna play
it's an
some
easy
Dak
target.
because
Brandon
I think
Cooks is
with
coming back.
Trevon Diggs is out. Like Marquise Brown's a guy that you like. He's a guy that speeds up games. Like when he catches that long ball, Dak gets the ball back immediately. Like if I play Dak, I'm probably going to include Marquise Brown in a lot of those lineups.
Yeah.
But I like Geno. Like he's like, so I'm not going beneath Geno. Like I'm not playing any of that. He's the cheapest I'm going this week. I hate all the quarterbacks underneath him, but Geno I think's in a pretty good spot against Carolina at home. I mean, he's just so cheap.
I
Yeah,
know,
I
but
don't hate
I
it.
mean, I don't hate it, but I don't think Carolina can keep up. And
Andy Dalton is going to be the quarterback, and I don't know. Obviously I think he's better than Bryce Young at this point, and
I mean, Andy Dalton is $4,900.
I'm not.
He's your cash quarterback.
No, he's not. He's not mine.
Gardner
Well,
Minshew is
maybe
your cash
George-
quarterback.
He's not. I'm not playing Andy Dalton at 4,900 when Geno is 57. Like I'm gonna find that 800 somewhere else.
Well,
And
all right. So let's
Alright.
kind of let's recap. Did anyone have anyone else? Because we were all over the board there.
I do. It's if you want to get different at quarterback, I think an emergence in a very low owned play, Desmond Ritter, very
right.
cheap.
All right,
He
we're
had
done.
32 pass attempts, as much as you want to say the Falcons offense runs the ball a lot. He had 32 pass attempts, 10 rushing attempts. All I'm saying is potentially some opportunity there against Detroit, who's a high powered offense. He might have to sling the rock a little bit more than usual. And then you get to play Drake London. So
Well, I'm just gonna quickly advise you not to play Desmond Ritter.
just saying, if you want to get different,
All right.
throw a Millie Maker line in
All
there.
right, so we talked about Mahomes. We talked about Alex.
Dak
Talked about
Prescott,
Jackson.
that's gonna be like 3% owned. There's you. It's you getting different.
Okay, so Mahomes, Jackson, Herbert, Tua. You guys touched on Cousins. That's 5. Dak and some Geno
Whoa,
Trevor
Ritter?
Lawrence too.
I
and
just
Trevor
said-
Lawrence.
and Desmond Ritter.
I think
And we're not-
I think
no.
Gardner Minshew's playable. I really do.
I don't hate it.
I hate it.
You got a lot of good bringbacks. I mean,
It's cheap.
I don't love it. I don't love it. But if you're trying to get cheap at quarterback, I think he's a viable start. Over
Price.
a guy like Desmond Ritter, 5,100.
Ritter's
I'm just getting it.
$100 cheaper.
Geno.
Okay, the same thing.
Exactly.
All right, moving
All
to
right.
running backs.
Side bet, I think Desmond Ritter will score more than Minshew this week.
All right, side
20
bet.
20
Okay.
bucks.
Side bet.
All
I
right.
bet.
On to running backs. All right, at the high end, I know I have I'm gonna play a lot of him this week.
Who is that?
Tony Pollard.
Tony P.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like he like where if I'm eating the chalk somewhere this week, it's with someone like Tony Pollard. Like his usage right now is absolutely through the like. In my opinion, he should be 9K or above, and especially in this spot.
He's got like 10 more red zone touches than the next guy, and like 75%
He has as
snap
many
share.
like red zone touches as he had all of last year.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna score so many touchdowns this year.
Yeah, I think he had the same amount of targets as TJ Hawkinson and Chris Olave combined.
That seems like a.
I'm just throwing shade at Corey because that's what
Yeah.
I offered him. Tony Pollard for Hawk and Olave, but
Okay.
we'll move on. But it's not about that today. I can't believe they still put Nick Chubb in this line. It's just like they want to throw shots at me.
It's
when
just
they do
mean.
that.
It's
Well,
mean.
it's set up on Sunday, so they
Yeah.
finished.
But
Who
like,
else? You guys like expensive? I mean, there's not really.
I'm excited.
ETN.
I'm really excited to see Jahmyr Gibbs as in a feature role with David Montgomery out. I think like he's going to take the most out of his snaps and opportunities to show that he can be a featured back. We saw him. He really only played marginally in the first. I think the last 2 games he's only had 7 carries. Last week he had 7 catches too, which is awesome. But we could see that double, and last week he still put up 12 points. So I could see him getting into the 20s. So I'm definitely playing a lot of him.
Corey, you mentioned ETN. ETN's my favorite running back on this entire slate.
Yeah,
He's one of mine too.
Seeing a lot of usage, and
Yeah,
it's just not going to be. I think the Jaguars get ahead early on the Texans, so I think you can do a tiny stack with Nico and ETN. I think that's a fun little stack right there with the amount of targets Nico's getting. I mean, we'll get to Nico, but I think ETN's going to get a lot of rushing work. I don't think Tank Bigsby is quite there yet, so I don't think you really have to be worried. I mean, he did snake a goal line first week, but ETN's still obviously the main guy there, so he's a good one. And then, do you guys have any interest in James Cook?
I like his usage, but I don't necessarily like the matchup. I mean, Washington's front is stout. Their D line is very good.
Yeah. But I mean, he's getting targeted out of the backfield a little bit too. I mean, 10 targets already this season. I I think again, if you don't think Washington can keep up, obviously they're going to lean on the ground game more to burn clock off. Obviously, you always have to worry about Josh Allen keeping a ball and rushing into the end zone. But I think James Cook might get overlooked this week again. Last week he was a good play. I don't mind James Cook at 6,400 and kind of in that realm of just who do I play here. I think it's a good spot. And then I'm sure PB, you're probably loving Kenneth Walker.
I mean, I think he's all right. I'm not like
I like Kung Fu Kenny this week.
I mean, if I'm on Geno more, like naturally, I don't like Kenneth Walker as much. I don't really play them together, but
he's gotten some really good looks in the red zone, which I love for running backs. And we haven't really seen Charbonnet do anything, if at all. So,
I mean, I like him.
Yeah.
But
I'm definitely playing some of him. And then another guy in that range, Isaiah Pacheco. If the game script could turn that way, I think, they could go up 21-0 pretty early and start slowing it down with the run. I could see Pacheco getting 20 carries and, I think he'll maybe get 5 targets out of the backfield. So, maybe score a touchdown there. Jerick McKinnon has really yet to play any sort of significant role on the Kansas City offense this year. He's played registered under 10 stats a game, I'll say, like catches or runs. So we haven't seen much of him. And then, Clyde Edwards-Helaire kind of not really in the mix. So I think Pacheco had an awesome end of last year. He's getting healthy with that hamstring this week. So I like targeting that Bears game. I think the game script falls his way.
In my opinion this week, usually running back for me is pretty straightforward. There's 5 guys I really like. I mean, I'm struggling. I think there are a lot of solid plays. To me, there's no standout. Just Tony Pollard, maybe the only one. And then the rest, I just think all are just solid plays. Bijan, even at 200 cheaper. I think Pollard's definitely a much superior play, but I mean, Bijan will be less owned. But then it's this 5 to 6K range that it's Joshua Kelly.
Yep.
He's going to be in a feature role again. AJ Dillon, not as much going against the Saints, but he's going to probably be in a feature role. Miles Sanders against Seattle. Zach Moss against Baltimore. Alexander Madison.
Gus Bus.
Yeah, with Justice Hill. Yeah.
I
don't
and
like Gus
Aaron,
much.
Aaron Jones did practice today. So with the AJ Dillon take.
Dillon tier. But for me, the Joshua Kelly, Sanders, Zach Moss, Madison, it's tough. And then Kenneth Walker's a little more, and I still like him. Pacheco, we just talked about. Jerome Ford, who's now the feet. It is very, very tough.
Brian Robinson had a breakout week.
Agreed.
What? Brian Robinson had a breakout week.
He's one of my least favorite. I'm actually probably just fading him against.
I don't think lightning strikes twice that soon, but Tony Gibson's definitely out. I mean, we saw him fumble week 1, and we have not seen him since.
I'm not. I'm not
On
Brian Robinson again.
on top of that running back strategy that we kind of dipped into a little bit there, I love the high priced big name wide receivers significantly more this week
Right.
as well.
Yeah,
On top
That's
of that,
why I'm. There's no way I'm playing like two. Like I would never play like Pollard and Bijan in the same lineup. There's just
right. There's too many good high priced wide receiver matchups to go too expensive running backs.
yeah. So I definitely think at the upper end it's ETN and Pollard for like getting expensive, and then it's tough in that mid tier. But
Yep.
I mean, you just saw what DeAndre Swift did to that, Vikings. I know the Chargers are more pass heavy, but PB mentioned it. Like if Austin Eckler's out again, which he probably is with a high ankle sprain, I mean, Joshua Kelly, I mean, do they lean on the run game? I don't know, but you have to take a look at him, especially his pricing, especially what DeAndre Swift just did. Yes, the Chargers offensive line is not the Eagles offensive line, but I mean, still DeAndre Swift was running wide open last week against that Vikings defense.
Yeah, I'm almost glad Kelly didn't put up numbers didn't make it last week in his feature role because it was a bad matchup, and now he's got the Vikings this week, which is significantly better. So I do like me some Joshua Kelly this week. I think people will be a little bit off of him after last week's performance. He's still going to be the featured back there. So yeah.
All right, should we move on to this plethora of wide receivers we're gonna have?
Mm-hmm.
Show me the money.
No one I don't like.
It off at the upper end because I mean,
you could just pretty much go down. Yeah, I mean, any of the top six guys, 7 guys, if you count Waddle out.
I mean, how do you pick between?
There's only I think there's 2 top
out of
tier.
the top 7.
Yeah, I actually.
You get Justin Jefferson in a shootout, Tyreek Hill without Jalen Waddle,
and those are the only 2 in my opinion.
I think CeeDee Lamb against Arizona,
maybe Lamb, but I don't like Amon-Ra. I don't like Diggs at all. There's no way I'm paying 8,100 for Diggs against Washington with Tyreek.
Is this Stephon Diggs rumor real that he's going to demand a trade? There's rumblings of that coming up again.
There's talks in the offseason where that they're saying he wasn't happy. So
yeah, and now it's kind of circling back around. Some reporter got caught on a hot mic saying he'd already demanded one.
That was I'm not
trouble in paradise. Wouldn't be the first time he did it.
But no, I think Jefferson against the Chargers is going to. He's definitely my favorite. I prefer him a little bit over Tyreek.
That's just such an expensive stack, that game. If you can figure it out, I mean, but yeah, Jefferson's going to absolutely feast. But if Waddle's out, I mean, Hill right there. I mean, you just expect him to get fed the ball as well. But I mean, Keenan Allen, good play as well. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm with you, PB. I think Jefferson and Hill are definitely the must plays this week. Fit them in your lineup any way possible. So paying down elsewhere, which we can always find value. But so beyond those guys, do we like? I'm looking down beyond that.
To me, it gets down to DK, Metcalf if I'm playing Geno a bit, but really, I mean, I
love Calvin Ridley.
I actually don't like. I mean, we just talked about we want to play the expensive guys, but Jefferson alone is going to be hard to fit into a lineup. So
yeah. Well, I got 2.
You play Pollard and Jefferson, you're already going to be going down to the value bin.
Yeah, I got 2 really cheap plays under 4K. If you want to play a lot of those guys, you could use a Tank Dell or a Jaden Reed. Both guys who
I'll play Jaden Reed.
Dell.
Tank Dell's a good play. Do not play Jaden.
Yeah. Tank Dell had 7 catches last week. We're going to see him out of the slot, I think, again. So he made the most out of his opportunity. So I'm all about riding the hot hand. For 3,600, it's going to take, 4 or 5 catches and 50 yards, and he's well paid for himself. So I like that. Jaden Reed was, had 2 touchdowns last week, a lot of red zone targets. PB's being a homer, doesn't want to target
No,
the Saints, but
it's just not a great matchup whatsoever. There's no reason to
yeah,
play.
but if you got to find some cheap plays, I think he's the best one under 4K. Him and Tank
No,
Dell, I think will have the opportunity wide margin above everyone else in that range. That's all I'm seeing.
but in the mid range, we kind of skipped to the low range there.
Yeah,
But Mike Williams is like,
Mike Williams.
I'm just like going straight from like Jefferson, really like Jefferson or Tyreek, and I'm just scrolling, and then Mike Williams.
Yeah,
I mean,
I like Mike.
Yeah, I like Mike, but you also can't forget the other Mike above him, Michael Pittman. He's getting just absolutely target machine, and the Ravens secondary is beat up extremely. So I like Pittman. I don't know why you're shaking your head, PB. He's getting the volume. It's a great matchup. The Colts are going to have to play from behind again. I mean,
I don't think you realize how great the matchup is in a with a much better quarterback in a much pass heavier offense against the Vikings, who they have zero speed and they just get absolutely destroyed by outside receivers. Like Mike Williams is going to he's going to do whatever he wants this game.
I didn't say Mike Williams. I agree with you. I said Mike Williams is a good play, but
I just don't unless I'm playing them together, which I'm probably not going to be able to fit 2 6K receivers this week. I would never play Pittman over Mike straight up.
I'm just saying I think it's a good matchup, and I think if he's getting 10 plus targets a game and he's producing, I think it's not something. That's the other thing is like if you want to pivot, people are going to look at Mike Williams. Okay, I want Mike Williams. I understand it's a great matchup, but for $200 more, you get Pittman, who's going to be extremely less owned than Williams will be. So it's just a pivot move off of a really high owned play that's going to be probably like 25% owned, I would have to assume.
Yeah, he'll definitely be popular, but just going from like a straight, good play, I think with Mike Williams.
A couple of the other mid-tier guys that want to call out here: Jordan Addison and Zay Flowers, 2 rookies here in I think pretty good spots. Obviously, OBJ is hurt. Still unclear if he's playing, but Zay has been the featured guy in Baltimore, and the Colts. We've talked about the Colts secondary on multiple episodes. It's nothing to write home about. They've been really good on the defensive line, but aside from that, the defense has not been amazing. And a guy like Jordan Addison, if you pivot off of a Jay Jettas to get a little bit of a cheaper stack in a game that we all agree it sounds like is going to be a shootout, I think is a guy who gets a ton of targets, has produced the first 2 weeks of his career, and I think he continues that here in week 3.
Okay. What do you guys think of Amari Cooper?
It's tough with Deshaun right now. It's tough with Deshaun right now.
Tennessee.
Yeah. I mean, this is the matchup to target him for sure, but I don't know, man.
Why not just go down to Moore at cheaper, and he's getting.
I think Amari Cooper is a much better wide receiver than Elijah Moore.
I mean, yeah,
and Watson targets Amari way more.
I mean, not way more.
Not really.
Yeah, he had one more target last week, and
Elijah Moore should have had like 3 or 4 more catches if he could have kept his feet in bounds and like had any awareness. He was like near the sideline, like he probably would have had like 80 yards.
And then
London, even though I don't like Ritter, but just as a one-off, I like London.
Yeah, I mean,
playing London with my Ritter stack in the Millie Maker. So,
I mean, we talked about Nico. I mean, I think, like I said, the mini stack with Nico and Travis is a good play. Nico is still probably not priced correctly. I mean, he's the number 1 target there in a very, very pass heavy offense. And CJ Stroud has looked relatively okay through the first couple games. It's the Jacksonville, defense is not anything to write home about. And again, they'll probably be playing from behind. So I like Nico again. Yeah, but I mean, then geez, you get in town, it's like this 4,500 range, and it's just like gross. It's very gross.
I mean,
here's a dart throw for you, Corey. You're gonna love this one.
Oh,
Josh Downs.
Josh Downs.
Downs.
Yeah, I could play that. Oh my gosh.
I mean,
dart throw. 3,500 dart throw. He's a guy.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
It's fine. He's a guy who, I mean, if you're playing some of these high price stacks, if you're doing a Mahomes Kelsey or you're doing a Herbert, uh, Keenan Allen, I think he's a guy you can slide in here as a cheap wide receiver that is going to get some looks against a beat up Baltimore secondary. He has that home run potential. He's got the speed on the outside. I think he's a dart throw for sure. I mean, he's priced at 3,500, so I'm not like, beating the drum for Josh Downs here. But if you're stuck with some low salary here at the end of your lineup and you're looking for a guy to plug in, I don't hate it.
Yeah. He looks better than Alex Pierce. I'll say that. Alex Pierce looks like garbage.
When I go through like what I'm just like initial ownership and the stack, the one that like really just catches my eye for how low owned it is against how bad of a team they're playing is this Geno stack. Like every other quarterback we mentioned, there's a piece of the offense, whether it's the Chargers, Minnesota, Kelsey and Mahomes, even like you said, Ritter, like London's going to probably be semi-popular. The one stack that I'm just like, wow, how are these guys not going to be owned is Geno, Lockett, Metcalf. Like who's guarding those guys on the Panthers? Like we've seen Seattle stacks go off for, and yes, you'd ideally want, like, I think Miles Sanders is a really good run back in that, or he's probably my favorite in that because it fills out that running back spot. I don't like playing the roulette wheel at receiver for that Panthers team.
Atrocious.
But
Panthers receiving core.
I don't get it. Like that one just seems to be going under the radar, and I'm probably gonna be targeting that one quite a bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll quickly cover tight ends and then build our Millie Maker lineup. I mean, Kelsey, obviously.
Mark Andrews, Hunter Henry's
Hawkinson.
the top 5 tight end so far this year. And then you could just throw like a home run.
Zach Ertz, I'll just mention, is getting targeted at a crazy rate.
Yep.
Tough matchup against Dallas, but I mean, he's probably it's probably Kelsey or Ertz for your like cash games. Ertz is just so cheap.
I don't hate you mentioned this in the bets episode. PBK Dotton is getting a lot of looks.
He's on this slate.
Oh,
yeah, he's
scratch that. Ignore that.
But yeah, I don't know.
Kincaid.
I think one way to get different is Durham Smythe. He's out there like every single play.
And with no Waddle, maybe some more volume.
Yeah, if Waddle's out, I would have a little more interest in like a Tyreek Smythe.
I mean, Dalton Kincaid 6 targets first 2 games. I mean, if
Dawson Knox is out, yeah, Kincaid is looking nice.
Yeah. I mean, that's really about it on tight ends. I mean, he's just not really.
I'm gonna keep. I know he's gonna have a massive game, and again, if you're playing Ritter, Nick, you should just do like the full on Ritter, the London Pitts, and then run it back with like Josh Reynolds or Jahmyr Gibbs or something.
Gibbs,
yeah. But I think you should play in that Ritter team.
That's a wrap for this one, I guess, right?
Yeah, we're ending it off on me telling you should play Pitts.
Yeah. We'll build our lineup here.
We got to go ahead and build our lineup right now. All righty, let's get right into it here. What do you guys want to do with our stack?
Well, I got my Bob the Builder hat on here. I'm ready to build the Millie Maker. My vote is Kirk Cousins. I think he has the most upside on the slate. Their run game is in shambles. They just had a trade for Cam Akers for a bag of peanuts. They're going to have to keep up with the Chargers. Kirk's going to be slinging the rock all over the field.
There's no way we play the chalkiest quarterback in the Millie Maker. Just no way.
I know.
My vote. My votes, and is either Geno, Deshaun Watson, or Tua.
I played Tua.
Even without Waddle?
Yeah.
Makes it even more better.
Well, Pat Surtain is still there.
I just don't like it. One thing about Tua is just like you're not really usually you want your stack to like gain some type of leverage. Like Tyreek, if Waddle was out, Tyreek would probably be the highest owned receiver on the slate. And then you're just like, so like I like him.
I'd rather play Gino, just an opportunity cost thing. I think he has better upside than Tua this week.
No
I don't
love for
necessarily say
Herbert.
think he has more upside. Like Tua obviously has more upside. I'm saying just from a pricing thing and from a low ownership, like that Seattle stack, I think is going to be pretty low owned.
for a reason. But I
I
mean,
mean, Herbert is a guy we all talked about too that did not get mentioned.
Well, I just think it's that same game where like I think Herbert and Kirk are just gonna take all the ownership.
I mean,
All
I
right.
still vote for Dak or Kirk.
no, because we'll get the Dallas piece through Tony P.
Yeah.
All right, we'll throw
So,
Tony P in
no,
then.
no, okay. So let's do Gino then. Since he's cheap.
I mean, are we gonna do the? I mean, we could do we could play for the breakout for JSN. Like obviously, if we go Geno, Lockett, Metcalf, like it's an expensive stack, kind of, but we've seen it win before. Or we do like a Geno, DK, and like JSN or something. Or are you guys not into? Don't want to.
I would rather just do DK, and then there's a lot of good plays this week. So
Okay. And then what about Miles Sanders for the
I
run
mean,
back?
I'm not taking Adam Thielen.
Yeah. I think it would be Miles Sanders or like DJ Chark, but I just don't really want to play the roulette game.
No,
No.
I think we play Sanders.
Yeah.
And let's go to defense here just off the bat, just so we can see what we can work with. Um,
I think the
I
Browns could be in a slow game for 33. They're kind of expensive though.
mean,
But bad offensive line for Tennessee this week. So
Buffalo against Washington looks nice.
where's Buffalo down?
2,900. But they might.
the Jets against New England.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
that
mind
could
the
be
Jets against New England.
pretty
I
good.
like the thing about the Browns is I feel like Tannehill just doesn't throw a lot. Like it's hard to get those pick sixes.
Yeah.
And then I like the Patriots versus the Jets. I like more of the expensive, like 2.9 and above.
I like the Jets.
I like the Jets.
Okay.
All right, so that's 5,200. So let's get
Mike Williams.
I mean,
I think we need to
do you like Michael?
I know. I like Mike. I think we should play. Is it possible to play Mike and Jefferson here?
You'd
I
have
just
to
wanna see
play
if-
like a Tank Dell
Oh
in this
God.
flex.
Yeah, we're not going to do this because we'd have to play like
You could
You
get
could do-
Addison.
I just don't want to chase Addison's double touch like two touchdowns in a
Osborne.
row.
Yeah.
I think Jefferson is like set up to just get everything, like just destroy. But he kind of Jefferson would be like really hard to like completely destroy you unless he got like 40 plus. Cause like he has to put up like 35 to even be considered to be a tournament winner, in my opinion.
Okay.
For that price, yeah.
So I don't know. Let's see what else is here. Like go to like 6K downish.
Say we threw Tank Dell in. What does that give us for tight end?
And
and
Tank
flex?
Dell is going to be like the most popular cheap guy. I don't think we can put Tank Dell in here. Like those are the type like you play Tank Dell in cash games 100%, but those are the exact type of plays that like they'll get you like 12 or 30. They're not going to put up a winning score in my opinion.
I mean, do we play the JSN breakout at
I'm
4,300?
okay. Yeah, I was okay with playing that way. Like get like when no one's playing him.
I
See
feel
where
like
that
if we
puts
got
us.
Gino,
Because
we can get a fairly cheap tight end in here and still have
Right.
like
Kincaid's only
top
3,400. My gosh.
Yeah, he's cheap. I mean, the only other
I will say I do like Kincaid. Who's above Kincaid?
Ertz.
No, yeah, I don't want to play Ertz. Again,
Hurst.
I would
Mhm.
play Kincaid for that cheap.
No,
We-
no,
that opens
I
up
so
a
okay, my
flex.
opinion, Kincaid, Kyle Pitts,
no.
Go
No.
above Kyle Pitts. Who's
I like-
above Kyle Pitts? I just want to see like
Yeah, that gives us a pretty good flex.
Andrews, Ingram. Yeah, I'm fine with Kincaid. And then yeah, we get a nice solid flex here. ETN.
Could get ATN.
Double tight end.
Could
I
get
kind of
Kelsey.
play
Kelsey.
receivers in
No,
the
I'd-
flex, but I get
I would
it.
much rather do
Pretty
ETN.
good.
You much rather do ETN over Travis Kelsey?
Yeah. I just don't like doing double tight end.
I mean, is Kelsey really considered a tight end?
I mean, yeah, because then like he could fill the tight end spot, and then Kincaid could have been like a receiver with more upside.
Well, the other thing is Kincaid a tight end?
Right. But
Good
I
point.
think there are receivers that still have more.
Yeah, I mean, it's a solid lineup. I think. I mean, I'm
Yeah, I
not
like
really
it.
on board with it. I'm not wholeheartedly on the Geno train, but again, it's early in the week. That
There's
could definitely
also a
change.
tourney Millie Maker lineup that should feel a little off. It shouldn't be super comfortable building a Millie Maker. Like if you feel like super comfortable, like oh that's the best play. That's you like put that in like a single entry. Put that you don't put that in a Millie Maker type lineup. Like you have to get pretty off the wall in these
Yeah.
tournaments.
No, I agree.
All right, that's our week 3 Millie Maker. Hopefully, we're gonna take it down one of these times.
We're gonna
and
get it.
All have $250,000. in our
All it
pocket.
takes is one. All it takes is one.
Yes. All right. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. Helps out the channel a lot, and we will see you next time.